What's up, guys? Today we're going to be going over the Destiny 2021 update, the road to the Witch Queen. And before we start breaking down this article, my G Fuel code Ehroar is 30% off through March 1st, so definitely take advantage of that and try out all the new flavors or stock up on your faves. Anyways, go ahead and click the link in the comments description. It'll take you over to the store and automatically apply my discount code. So in this video, we're going to be breaking down the main key points of this article. We're not going to be reading the entire thing. I will link it below if you guys want to read the entire thing by yourselves, but we're just going to be going over the key points and talking about my thoughts on them. So the first main thing is this paragraph right here, the Witch Queen, Lightfall, and Beyond. Last summer, we outlined our ambition for the next era in Destiny 2 by announcing the full arc, starting with Beyond Light, followed by Witch Queen and Lightfall. As we began to scale production on the Witch Queen last year, we made the difficult but important decision to move its release to early 2022. We also realized we needed to add an additional unannounced chapter after Lightfall to fully complete our first saga of Destiny. So the main takeaways here is the next DLC will not be until early 2022, which is probably just a chain reaction domino effect of COVID and Beyond Light being delayed itself, which I'm happy they're pushing it back to when it will be ready and not trying to rush it like they have with some things in the past. So obviously I think this is completely fine, and I'd rather it be a finished product than trying to push it out, towards the end of 2021. Then the second part is where they have to add an additional unannounced chapter after Lightfall to complete our first saga of Destiny. That makes it seem like there'll be more even after that, whether that's a whole new Destiny 3, a whole new game just called Destiny. I mean, who knows, or something completely different. It definitely seems like they have plans of some sort after Lightfall, which is good to hear. And if you want to read these few paragraphs right here, it pretty much just goes over what I was kind of feeling that the first main paragraph was stating. Overall, it pretty much just says that they hope to make Destiny a completely everlasting evolving world. So it definitely seems like they have very long-term ideas for the series, and it's not going to be dying anytime soon. Then the next big topic is rewards that matter. To sum up their intro to this chapter of the article, it pretty much says that with Season 11 they introduced sunsetting, and it was very clear that our execution was off the mark, which was very clear. They go on to say that the sunsetting allowed them to shift the meta in a meaningful way, but the system also made it feel like the rewards in the game had an expiration date, which, I mean, it didn't feel like that, they did, and it made it feel like playing old content was shallow. So the decision was to sunset sunsetting by completely getting rid of it, and the way they're going to do that is with the current season, the stuff that is at 1310 max power will be fine for pretty much forever now. It's just the stuff before that that will still have that infusion cap. So unfortunately, things from Season of Dawn and before will still be left in the past, but anything from Season of Worthy, which is the 7 Seraph weapons, and onward will always be able to hit the max power. And the reason they did that is because a lot of people probably deleted stuff from Season of Dawn and before. If they just reverse that decision now, a lot of people will be mad that they deleted their breach lights, deleted their martyrs, whatever it is, and now they're back to being relevant in the game. That obviously would not be a good decision. Just because people deleted that stuff thinking it was fine to delete it and it'll never be relevant again, if they backtracked on that decision, that would obviously be pretty bad. So now things like Fallen Guillotine, 7 Seraph weapons, Ikelus weapons, Filmmaker's Lie, all those things will never be sunset in Destiny and will always be around. And pretty much their response to that is they're going to need a way to shift the meta, and they're going to have to nerf some of the outlying things. For example, Warmind Cells in PvE. Then they also mentioned Fill Winters in PvP. So I think as a community, we all realized very clearly that the way sunsetting was being handled was completely terrible. From old weapons just getting their power level increased, for example, Last Wish items, to weapons returning with new perks, with a new power cap, or the fact that things from Beyond Light, which is a majority of the things you can farm in the game right now, won't even make it to Witch Queen. That was a huge thing for a lot of people, and obviously all these things were pretty terrible. It made it feel like there was no reason to actually farm out the stuff. And as you guys have probably heard in a lot of my videos this season, when I was talking about certain weapons, one of the main reasons I mentioned to farm them was because their counterparts were going to be sunset before Witch Queen, and a lot of people play the game to gear up for the major DLC, and with a lot of the weapons not even making it to the DLC, it felt like it was irrelevant to even farm them in the first place. Or even like my video yesterday about the Swarm, well, one of the main reasons to farm the Swarm was because the only other Arc LMG in the game would be sunset after this current season. So it just felt like you're replacing stuff, not because the new stuff was better, just because the old stuff you couldn't use anymore. Honestly, that was a terrible feeling that pretty much made it feel like you were just getting stuff because you had to, not because you wanted to or even liked it. So yeah, I think we can all agree the version of sunsetting they had to go. I mean, it was just terrible. In the first season and a half that we've had with sunsetting taking place, it just felt terrible, like all around. And I haven't even brought up the armor situation, which is way worse than the weapons. So I think we can all say we're glad it's gone. We'll just have to see how they handle some outliers in the future. For example, the Warmind cells, which I think is completely fair, that if Warmind cells, especially the Echoes and Seraph weapons, will always be around and the mods will always be around, I think it's fair game to nerf them down a bit, because I think we can all agree that they're kind of overpowered. And now that they're going to be around forever, they're definitely have to look into them. So it'll be interesting to see how Bungie handles some of these different situations with things that are sticking out of the meta and are too powerful or too weak. Up next is the change to power leveling. So right now in the game, every season our power level goes up by 50. Then we also have 10 on top of that for Pinnacle Light. And what they're going to be doing is for the in-between seasons, the power level will not go up. It'll only be the 10 Pinnacle Light level. So if you reach the max power of the previous season, the second a new season starts, you won't have to go up by the 10 Pinnacle. And for me personally, I really like this decision. I've hated the power level grind for as long as it's pretty much been a thing. You pretty much just have to play old content just to play the new content half the time. And with the way the power leveling system has been working, it really hasn't changed in so long. It just feels like a chore you have to do every single season. And they either needed to rework it or pretty much make it less relevant, and they chose the second option there. So overall, I definitely like this change. It's not gonna feel like you're gonna have to do your homework the first week of every season just so you can go enjoy what you actually want to play. But overall, let me know what you think about this change. I know there are some people out there that actually enjoy the power grind, so definitely let me know what your thoughts on that are. Up next is a section about PvP. As I mentioned before, I'm going to link this in the description, so definitely read it if you want. It pretty much just talks about some pain points in PvP, and that is obviously great to finally hear about for all those Crucible players out there. And the final thing I want to talk about in this video is master version for raids. They pretty much say that there won't be a master version on release for VoG, but for future raids and dungeons, they plan on having master difficulties with adept weapons of the raid and dungeon gear, which is obviously a great idea. And as right now, they're working to make sure that the master version will ship closely after the launch of said raids and dungeons. As right now, the master VoG will not be right after the normal VoG, but it'll come at some point. And honestly, I think that's just a great idea for adept weapons and gear from raids and dungeons, because as they mentioned, it's worked so well in Nightfall Strikes, and I completely agree. I think Master and Grandmaster Nightfalls are some of the best things they've added in recent time, and adding that same system to raids and dungeons just makes perfect sense. And that is pretty much all I want to talk about in this article. There is a few more sections if you want to read yourself, but yeah, that is the overview of this article and some of my thoughts about the topics in it. So definitely let me know what you guys think about this article as a whole and all the things we went over in this video, because this is pretty much a direct reply to a lot of the community's pain points throughout the past few seasons. Anyways, thanks for watching. Catch you guys next time.